realize the mic has not been on for the past 3 minutes.
I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.
Hey guys, for this week's topic, we are talking about surgery and CF. Now, the surgeries that I thought of were more extreme and big, but when I looked up the actual definition of what a surgery is, all the things that I've had so far are actually surgeries. So I'll be talking about those today and my thoughts before and after. So throughout my whole CF life so far, I've had 2 sinus surgeries, 3 PICC lines, 1 TIPS procedure, and 5 endoscopies. My first really big hospital stay and my first surgery was my sinus surgery, and I was 8 years old. And my thoughts before, I was nervous because it was my first surgery and I was going to be put under anesthesia. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. And afterwards, just because of all of the nurses and the doctors helping me stay relaxed and calm, it wasn't a bad experience for me. My second sinus surgery I had 2 years later, and again I wasn't scared of my surgery because I'd already experienced it and I knew what was going to happen and what the recovery was going to be like. It was in a new hospital, however, because the first one was when I lived in Colorado and the second one was when I moved to California. So I was a little bit nervous about my new doctors, but I wasn't as scared as I thought I would be again because I understood everything that would occur. With the PICC lines, the first one I was put under anesthesia and I don't recall a lot of my feelings about that, but it was just like a bigger IV for me. The second one was a little bit scarier for me because they did not put anesthesia on me because they wanted me to be awake. And I did not know how to stay calm and relaxed, and I was freaking out, and it was pretty scary for me to be having that PICC line put into me. And my third one was the most recent one that I had in February. They had to give me one while I was awake because I'm an adult now, and they didn't want to put me under anesthesia, but I was having a little bit of anxiety, and so they had to give me some kind of medication to help me remain calm, and they played a movie for me during that time, but I was calm afterwards, but beforehand I was just trying to do, mind over matter, but in the moment it was scary, but afterwards it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So PICC lines aren't that hard for me anymore, but the next surgeries I'm going to talk about have spurred on a little bit of anxiety for me. The 5 endoscopies that I've had were all related to when I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, liver disease. And that was because the blood backed up from my liver and was bleeding in my esophagus. So they had to do an endoscopy and seal up all the vessels that were bleeding. And then they had to go in every couple weeks to go back and check and see if it's sealed up. The reason why it brought on a lot of anxiety is because the first one that they did, they thought they could do it while I'm still awake but kind of asleep, and as soon as they put the tube in, my gag reflexes just kicked in, and I can remember that feeling vividly, and it's not something that anyone would want to experience because I just remember trying to get it out of my system, and then I heard the nurses and the doctor saying, "She can't handle this, we need to turn it up," and then I heard a sound and then I was out. So I'm guessing they turned up the anesthesia. And after that, for every single endoscopy after that, my thoughts were connecting it to the first endoscopy that I had, and it's not a healthy connection that my brain has. I'm now trying to overcome that, where I'm not as scared from it anymore. The last endoscopy that I had, I was still nervous beforehand, but I knew what was going to happen. So I was still nervous, but the anxiousness was slowly starting to go away. So I'm praying that if I ever have to get another endoscopy in the future, that the anxiousness will not be there as much, because it's just what my brain can connect endoscopies to the first endoscopy that I had. The next one was a TIPS procedure, which I had because of cystic fibrosis liver disease. And a TIPS procedure is basically where they put a tiny little shunt into your artery vein of your liver to allow blood flow. And the way they did that, it's almost like a PICC line, but they put it right here in my neck. Yeah, right here in my neck. And they put like a tube that went all the way down to my liver, and through that tube they put the little shunt through that connected to my artery vein in my liver. And I was nervous before the procedure because I never had anything like this. I didn't know what it would be like. I didn't know what the recovery would be like. So I was very anxious before the procedure, but the surgeon came in and told me what would happen and what the recovery process is like, and he told me that I would feel a little bit of pain, an uncomfortable pain, like an IV pain in your neck, and when you wake up, and he said, but it won't be that bad. So next day when I have the procedure, I wake up in a room that is pitch black. It's the ICU, but I didn't know that at the time. It's pitch black. I have this excruciating pain in my neck, and I have a high pain tolerance, and I was screaming and crying bloody murder, and my mom was telling the nurses and whoever else was in the room that this is not like me. I have a high pain tolerance, and there are people trying to tell me to calm down, and I only recognized 3 voices, my nurse and my parents, and there are other people in the room. I didn't even know who they were, and they're all trying to tell me to calm down, and that's when I had my first panic attack. Because of that experience, I do have a lot of anxiousness for whenever I go to hospitals, and the anxiousness is slowly starting to go away since it has been 2 years since my TIPS procedure, but my brain has just connected a lot of the bad memories to the hospital, which makes it hard sometimes to overcome that and be like, oh yeah, going to the hospital. But since then, my parents and I have tried to make the hospital a good place and a safe place and a good experience for me, and which has helped and has actually been starting to relieve the anxiousness. But those are the surgeries that I've had and the experiences that I've had with them. They are good, they are bad. My thoughts before and after procedures have definitely changed from when I first had my sinus surgery when I was 8 years old to where I am 19 years old and had a TIPS procedure. But it's all part of the CF journey, and whether it's big surgeries or small surgeries, it can all affect us in different ways, and we all have different memories or emotions or feelings about it, and since what you'll hear this week from everyone else. But honestly, a lot of these surgeries help us become more stronger and able to help others with experiences that they might have gone through or experiences that they're about to go through. So I hope my video and our videos are helping you this week if you're dealing with any surgeries or any experiences from past surgeries. And that's it for my video, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.